Hey guys, welcome back to Ratchet Builds. Today we're going to be doing a brake job on my 05 Honda Accord. I've got a vibration in the steering wheel when braking at higher speeds. Also got a little bit of squealing in the rear. This car does have over 200,000 miles on it with the original rotors on it. So we're just going to go ahead and replace the rotors, and we're going to replace pads on it. I'm going to bring y'all along, show y'all how to do a brake job. So the first thing we're going to do here is actually get the car jacked up so that way we can get the tire off. I am going to be using air tools for this job to make my life a little bit easier. So as far as the jack goes, whenever you go to put it underneath your car, you want to make sure you put it on the jack point underneath it. There's normally a nice little thick piece of metal for you to put your jack on underneath here. That way you don't crush your floor pan or anything when you're jacking up the car. It's a nice sturdy spot. So let's get that lined up and get this in the air. Now that we've got the car in the air, let me show you this jack spot here. So if you can see right here underneath the jack, there's a nice little ledge that I've got this on. It's a nice thick piece of metal for the car to rest on. That way we're not pushing in the floor pan. So we're gonna go ahead and undo our lug nuts, get this tire off, and then we'll get started on doing the brake job on it. All right, now that we've got the tire off, I'm ready to start doing my brake job here. If you are trying to do your own brake job and follow this video, this is not a tutorial video. This is just me doing maintenance for my own personal vehicle and just recording it for y'all's entertainment. If you are trying to do this yourself, if you don't know what you're doing, take it to a professional. Let them take care of the job for you so that way it's done right. The brakes are a big safety factor on your car. It is what stops you whenever you need to stop to keep from hitting people or other cars or getting into a bad situation. Do not mess up your brakes. Do not attempt it if you do not feel confident in doing it. So with that said, let's get started. We're gonna get ready to do the brake job on this. The first thing we got to do is we've actually got to remove the caliper bolts here. That's gonna release our pads that we have down inside. And these pads aren't necessarily horrible. They're a little bit thin. The main reason for me doing the front is because my rotor, which is this part, is warped. My warp, basically, instead of it being nice and straight when it's turning, it's got a bend in it, so it wobbles. So whenever I hit my brake, you can actually feel the steering wheel shake side to side. So let's go ahead and get this caliper off. Then we'll move to the caliper bracket, and then we'll get the rotor off. So let's get going. So like I said, this side I'm just going to kind of show what I'm doing. I am going to be using electric tools because it just makes my life easier. So first thing we're going to do is knock this bolt out. And, oh, drop my socket. Get this bottom bolt out. Ooh, that one's tight. Yeah. Now that my caliper is loose, we're going to pop it off. But first thing I'm going to do is prepare me a way to actually hold this caliper. So what I'm doing now is just making a little holder, because you got rubber lines in here that are attached to your caliper. You don't want to let the caliper just hang on those rubber lines because it can stretch them, damage them while you're doing the brake job and create a brake problem for your car. So generally what you want to do is slide it off. I use a little bit of what I call mechanic's wire. I'm going to go ahead and wrap a loop or two around this. And I'm going to take it up here to this upper control arm. Pull it, loop it a few times. That way there's no tension on my brake lines here, and they're nice and loose. Next thing we're going to do is go ahead and pop my old pads out, which I don't know which one I'm going to show it to. Which if you see, oh man, I can't get it to focus. I don't know if y'all can see that, but my pad is actually cracked from here all the way to this side, which means that this isn't going to be connected very well. Under a hard braking condition, this pad could slide off, and then I'll be straight metal on metal. So we're also going to take this one off and inspect it. This one doesn't have any cracks in it, and if you can tell, the thickness of that pad is a heck of a lot thicker. These are our metal shims. We're going to remove them. I always recommend replacing them if you have the option to. That is the best. If you don't have the option, you can't get them because they're on back order, they don't have them in stock or something along that lines, you can clean them up and reuse them, but just make sure you inspect them very well. Now that I've got the correct socket, and I've also got me a wrench as well, we're going to break these 17 millimeters on the back side to get the bracket off. Whew. These are going to be real tight. There's our caliper bracket. What I'm also going to do while I have it off is these are slide pins. These are going to move in and out as your pad wears. You want to make sure they're lubricated and they're moving quite easily in and out. Otherwise, it can cause the pad to get stuck in a closer position on the inside or outside and wear your pad down quicker. Now, these got plenty of grease in them. I can feel it. They got a nice smush in and out. This one actually might be slightly over greased here. Yeah, this one's actually got a lot of grease in it. I'm actually going to take a little bit of that out because it's not smushing all the way in like it's supposed to. Now, if you do check your own and you find that you need to add grease to it, make sure you get the correct grease. There's a certain grease for greasing these pins. If you put the wrong one, you can cause these seals to swell on here, which is your protector to keep dirt out of it. And also some of these, sometimes, let's see if this one's got it. I don't know if this car's got it or not, nope. So some of them have a rubber O-ring on the inside of these pins here. This one doesn't, so still use the correct grease on it, but mine are nice and easy in and out. No kind of real force that I have to do on that. So next thing I'm gonna have to do is get my rotor off here, which, if you notice, we've got these bolts here that have got to come out. Now these are put in at the manufacturer to hold the rotor on while it goes down the assembly line, so that way the next person, it, you know, moves from one person, they put one part on, goes down the line to the next person. If they didn't put these in there, it could fall off while moving down the line. Now I like to put them back. Now I like to put these back. It's not 100% necessary, but I just do it because it's there. I like having it back on mine. If it's rusted out or something like that, sometimes you do have to drill these out. But I'm going to show y'all a real quick way with a special tool how to get this out. What we got here is an impact wrench, or, well, screwdriver. So I turn it one way to go reverse, turn it the other way to go forwards. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set it in that screw because these are generally in there pretty tight. Now I'm going to take a hammer right here on the back side and I'm going to whack it. And if you see, it broke my screw loose there, so I can easily take it out by hand. Now for the second one, we're going to do the same thing, line it all up. And I'm just going to take and hit it one time. And it twisted it. And out it comes. Now that that's out, let's get this rotor off. Oh, it's actually not rusted on. It just slid right off for me. All right, there's our rotor. We're gonna throw that over into our scrap pile, and I'm gonna go get the parts to put on the new ones. Open up our new rotor here. Now I realize an actual mistake that I made when I ordered these. I thought I just got the regular ones, but apparently I ordered cross-drilled and vented, or cross-drilled and slotted rotors. Did not mean to get that for this car. It's not 100% necessary. It's not like we're race car drivers or anything. Now, on this set, it does specifically tell me that I've got a left side and a right side, so I'm just going to follow the instructions on that. If they're just regular flat rotors like what came off, they should be the same on each side. So on some of these rotors, you'll have an oil that is actually on the rotor from the packaging just to keep it from rusting. These are coated. This coating is going to wear off within the first couple of breaks, but I really don't have anything to spray off on this rotor because there's no oil buildup on here. But if yours does have oil, get some brake cleaner or carb cleaner and just make sure you spray that oil off. You just don't want it on your rotors. I have left it on in the past, but it does cause your brakes to smoke the first couple of times you're using them. So we're gonna go ahead and get these screws back in. You want to make sure that rotor is nice and flat and in place. And I'm just going to give it a little tappy tap. All right, there's our new rotor. I've got nice clearance all the way around. Next thing is let's go ahead and get our caliper back on. Now, when me getting ready to put that bracket on, I'm going to go ahead and put me just a dab of Loctite on each one of these bolts. That way I've got something just making sure that it's secured in, and I know it won't come back out. I mean, it will come out if I need it to with power tools, but it won't just easily come out. So what I'm going to do is line it up, and I'm going to hand start these bolts first. I want them a good bit in, so that way make sure that we're not cross threading these and that they're going in easily like they're supposed to. All right, I've got those all in. Let's get this tightened up. We got our caliper bracket back on. Next thing we're going to do is put our pads in, which the pad set that I got does come with my new shims, so I will be putting my new shims in. And just to give y'all a comparison of old pad versus new pad, so this is my new set here, and I'm going to show you my thinnest of the old set. So you can see there how much thicker that new pad is than the old one. So my shims are just going to slide back down where they were. Nice new shims. Get the top one put in. I'm going to take my pad that has the little squill indicator, and I'm going to put that on the inside. Take my other pad that has no indicator on it. That one's going to go out here on the outside. My pads are in. Now I am going to put these in. My original pads did not have them, so it's just a little spring, and it's helped to keep the pads separated whenever you let off the brake. Put those on just 1 second because I'm going to go ahead and get my caliper prep now. My caliper's got a piston right here, and we've got to press that piston back in so that way we have enough room for the new pads. So I'm going to try to see if I can get a good angle of this. So I've got a nifty little tool here to do this with. I'm going to set my old pad in here, and I'm going to slide my tool in there, and I'm just going to squeeze it in. Now if this has any kind of hard friction on it or anything, you need to stop because there can be something wrong with your caliper itself. But that one went in nice and easy like it's supposed to, so I have no concerns on that one. So now I'm going to set that up there. Now I'm going to get these springs put in. So there's a hole there, one there, one there. Now, whenever you got these springs on there, you're going to want to keep a little bit of tension on your pad. Otherwise, it can push them back out while you're trying to push your caliper back on. So we're just going to ease this down. After I get my caliper around it, push my slide pin in, and there we go, she's lined up. So now I'm going to do the same thing I did with that caliper bracket on this one. I am going to hand start these bolts in to make sure they're starting correctly. Now we're going to tighten them back down. Now, let's not forget to take our wire out that we use to hang our caliper, because we don't want that getting tangled up. I'm going to inspect my hose here, make sure that it's routed the proper way and it's not twisted or kinked or anything, which it looks fine. So now we're ready to put the tire back on. So let's get this tire put back on the car. Then I'm going to go ahead and knock out the other side, and then I'm going to show you all on the rear. Tires back on the left side of the vehicle. I'm going to go ahead and knock out this right side front and rear. And then when we get done, I want to talk to y'all about some of the projects that I am thinking about putting onto the channel coming up. And also we're going to take this for a test drive just to make sure everything works like it's supposed to. So hope y'all enjoy this time lapse, and let me get these brakes knocked out for you. Alright guys, I'm actually interrupting this time lapse to bring you an example to what I was talking about on the other side, checking your slide pins. So I checked the slide pins on this caliper here, and this pin will not move no matter how much I press on it. It is seized. This one, as you can see here, if I grab it and push it in and out, it moves. So what we got to do is get this pin out, clean it up, and lubricate it. We're going to do just that. So one thing I did test out there before I brought it back inside was that if it would actually still turn. It does. So what I'm going to look for is my 17mm real quick, which fits on there. If you can see on this one how I can turn that one easy, this one not exactly moving back and forth like it's supposed to. So let's grab us a ratchet, and I'm going to try to work it back and forth real quick just to break it free, which it will turn, just not easily. Making sure I ain't messing up my rubber underneath there. So I got it turned a couple of times that way. Let's get it worked back the other way real quick. So it's moving. I don't want to twist it too much because I've got those rubber bushings there that protect from dirt and debris from getting into it. It does move. So it seems like I've done my favorite game, which is hide my WD-40 from myself. So generally what I try to do is I spray a little WD-40 down there. I can't find it right now, so I'm just going to spray some carb cleaner, just kind of break things loose. See if we can get that to get rid of whatever is in here holding it in place, which ratcheting it's getting easier. Oh yeah, now it's really moving. Brake clean did its job. Got a little bit of rust in here, nothing too major. I'm just going to spray some down in there, clean as much of this rust out as I can, and then we'll get it back together. So what I'm doing here is, of course I filled it up full of carb cleaner just to clean the inside of this. Now I'm using the actual slide pin itself in and out to actually break all the gunk and rust and stuff like that on the inside of this free, which if you look right down here on my table, all this, oops, let me see, you can see all that nastiness that is coming out of this. So I'm just going to continue to work that a little bit more. Gonna wipe off our bolt, get it all nice and shiny. Spray a little bit more in this upside down just to wash off that last little bit. That's coming out pretty clean now. Also, I can use that same carb cleaner to wipe up my mess off my table. Now we need to lubricate this. I got some old slide pin grease here. I'm just gonna lightly cover it. Put that in. It looks like we still got a little bit in there, so let's see if I can dry the rest of that out. Still got a little bit of rust coming out. I'm going to lubricate it one more time. Oh, that's much better. Not as much metal on metal sound. So there we go. She's moving. I'll meet y'all back at the car as we put this back together. Now that the 05 Accord is done, brakes are back on it, I want to talk to y'all about an idea for this channel. So I'm mostly based around doing RC car stuff, but I also work on automotive as well, as you can tell from the past 2 videos and this one that I've done. So I have multiple projects out here at my house that need to be taken care of that I've kind of been putting off, waiting for the right moment. Just honestly being lazy. Just being lazy. So I'm kind of going to go through these cars one by one on how I want to take care of them on this channel, and hopefully y'all are receptive to the projects. So I'm going to start off with the easier project that I have still to do on the 05 Accord. So that's actually going to be doing, let me see if I can do this without catching my tag, is actually going to be fixing this dent in the bumper here. So when we first got the car, we accidentally backed into something, damaged the car that we had just gotten, and it's been in there ever since. So I've already got the new bumper. I am trying to determine if I'm going to paint it on this channel. I know at least I'll do an install video on this channel. The next vehicle I've got is going to be, well, this one. So this is a Chevy Tahoe. I picked it up for a steal because the transmission has no gears, no reverse, no park, no neutral, no drive. Everything is pretty much neutral. So I need to pull the transmission on this one. Something else I plan to do on this channel. And then I may direct you to a different channel for the rebuild of the transmission, because I will not be doing that. So this is another project. Now, there's a lot more that needs to be done than just the transmission. Once we get that done, the motor runs, but it runs a little rough, but no knocks or pings or anything, so it should be fixable. So we'll go through the diagnostics of that on here, getting that up and running. I want to make this my new daily driver. And also, it's just got a V8 in it, so for a lot of my hauling capacity, I would like to be able to use that vehicle more so than my old Ford here. Which brings me to the next project. So this is my old 2001 F-150. She's a 4.2 liter V6 in it, and she has done me well over the years. I have pulled way too much stuff. That is way too much weight for this car, or sorry, truck. But it's always done me good. She's just getting high in mileage. She's going to need a motor soon. I think she's almost got 260,000 miles, something like that on it. The motor is smoking a little bit, but it does clear up, so probably just valve stem seals. But with the high mileage on the motor, if I'm going to go into it, either I'm going to do a rebuild or we're just going to get a crate motor put into this vehicle here. And it's probably just going to be a yard dog from that point on, because honestly, having all these vehicles on insurance gets expensive. So next one is my wife's Honda Accord here. So it's multicolored because it was an accident at one point in time, and I stole parts from another car to actually get it back together into one solid car. So we got a little bit of a light blue here and it's black here. So this car mechanically is almost done. I've got a power steering rack I need to put on it, a power steering pump. We've got to finish up the interior. It is gutted right at this moment in time. And she also wants me to put on a wing over here on the back of the car, and also get this car painted. Now this one I'm probably going to do myself in the yard. I have painted cars in my yard previously, and they have turned out okay. A few bugs, nothing major. Which, painting cars in my yard brings me to my project that I have put off for way too long. So I've been trying to get a lift put up my house, but this is my CB7. This is my Honda Accord. It used to be my kind of go-to car for going to car shows and stuff. She's been sitting here for a moment. She's a little rough around the edges.
The plan for the car is to actually get this one back up and running. I blew the engine in it. I've already got the replacement. I just got to get the time to actually put it in. That's the reason I kind of want to put it on this channel, so that way I can actually get some of my side projects done. Plus, I would love to get back in this car. It was much better on gas mileage than some of my other vehicles, and it was just fun to drive, especially the looks I got while I was in the car. The next little project that I plan on also doing on this channel at some point in time is going to be one that I've been putting off for a good minute. It's been sitting in my yard for almost 2 years now, and that's going to be my little CRX right here. This is actually my wife's car. It's one of the cars that she wanted, and the plan for it is just to get it running, drive it as a nice little daily. We might do a few modifications to it, but right now I just got to get the suspension put back underneath it, get the paint done to it, do a little bit of work on the interior, and it should be ready to run and drive. So I am going to be switching over a little bit to some of my automotive work. Hopefully y'all enjoy the content. If y'all like the videos, of course, like and subscribe down below. If you got any comments or any ideas on what I should do with some of these vehicles, leave a comment down below as well. Thank you all for watching. I hope y'all have a great day.